Video, we are still on design of machines. We are still working on flywheels. So first we obviously have to read the question. Okay, in the manufacturing process, a base torque load requires this much. That's our TL, torque load. When it's operating, process requires this much in this revolution, or let me say displacement, and this much and that much before dropping to the base torque during each revolution of a shaft. The process requires the shaft speed does not vary by more than 3%, and then average speed is this one in RPMs, and then this is the type of material it's made of. Okay, it's a rim, so it's like has a loop type of thing, and then outer diameter is given and inner diameter is given. There's spoke involved, so if you're saying spoke, they say it's more like the inner part has little or nothing to contribute. If you know spokes from your bicycle wheels, those small things, so you don't really have to calculate anything related to them. So it's required to calculate the width of the rim, of which I assume if this is a flywheel we are designing, it has an opening, remember, and have some spokes like your bicycle wheel. We're supposed to determine how actually thick it is. Okay, so we're given this data. First, before I think I have to point out that there is actually a mistake in the question here. That's supposed to be, it's supposed to be same as this one, of which is 6 pi all over 4. And then that we got to attempt the question. So you know that on our design we always have this integral for KE, to an easy one, from theta omega max to theta omega mean, and then we are TL minus T average d theta. That integral will get us energy. What else we know that is useful? Our moment it's going to be KE, so the KE we got there all over coefficient of fluctuation, and omega average all squared. And then from here you know that our our inertia has all the dimension properties. So if they ask anything about dimensions, that is our goal. We want to get that one, and this one will get us diameters, thickness, radius, depending on the question. So they also gave us some here some material properties for our flywheel. Okay, we'll see how we use that in a minute. Also, they give us our average here. So omega average is going to equals to 980 times 2 pi all over 60. Let me compute that. Okay, and then if after my calculator I'm getting 98 all over 3 pi's, of which engineers love decimals. It's going to be something around 0.262536. Okay, let me keep my value. I started A on my calculator, then we move on. Also they gave us that it varies 3%, so this omega can be 3% more or 3% less. So we've got our omega mean it's going to be 97% of this one, because it will be 3% less. So 97% multiplied by our 102.62, then on my calculator will be 97% multiplied by A, because I started A, and then I'll get something like 99.546592 it's still the same unit for angular velocity. Then that's not all. We still want to get max. Our max will be 103% of whatever this is, and then we'll get, let me put it here, we'll get 105.7041208. okay, so that's fine. So I have my values stored B and C for this one, and then I think it's very useful also to get our torque average, because this formula has torque average here. Oh no, torque average is this one. So our torque average, the same thing as we did on the other problem, we'll be summing all these torques versus the time they took all over the time it took for one revolution. So we'll have 250. I'll try to go in here so that I can write without wasting more page. Okay, we'll be having 250. 250 took how much? 250 took 3 pi all over 4, close, and then we'll have 120. I'm looking at these numbers I'm getting. I'm actually taking a different here. This is when I say took how much, I'm looking at this minus this, this minus this, this minus this, onwards. So I have that 120 took 2 pi all over 4. This after taking those differences. Okay, 400 took 4 pi all over 4, plus 60 took 2 pi 2 pi all over 4. Okay, that is all over how much the whole thing took 2 pi, obviously to one revolution. Then after doing correct calculations, I'm getting 175 n.m. Okay, now we have our torque average. So things are getting together for this one. We already know load, we already know torque average. This means we can now integrate, right? So this is our formula that we use almost every time. So our theta, where there is maximum rotation, is where there is minimum torque. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my graph. Okay, I was going back to my graph where it is. So this is where we're starting to integrate. Here, where the minimum starts. You may ask, why not this one? This is not the minimum. There's like when the flywheel is falling back or starting again. So this is actually our minimum. Okay, so we're integrating starting from, what is the number? Just hide it from 3 pi all over 4 until where the max starts. Remember, max starts means mean on omega. Okay, that's 5 pi over 4. 5 pi all over 4. What are we integrating? T load. What is our T load? It's 60 minus T average. I think it was 188.75. Then D theta. Then after putting this in your calculator, you should get something. Remember, if I'm doing this, I'm getting something minus 202.24 and a lot of zeros, and then 271. Okay, this energy dot nms. Also, we are taking absolute here. This is an absolute, so it's an absolute energy. So it's literally 202.24. Okay, that's our answer. Okay, cool. So we know that after this answer, we also have another formula that has moment, inertia. It's going to be Ke all over Cf, of which I think we're given that one, omega average. Cool. So okay, that's we know this is 202.24. we don't know Cf. Okay, we know omega average is this one. 102.62, 102.6204, doesn't really matter. And then we want this. So our fluctuation factor is literally how much this thing is fluctuating, like the torques, or how smooth, let me just, it's a degree of smoothness of our shaft with the flywheel. So there is a formula that will get us that, obviously, and the formula goes by omega mean should equals to the omega average multiplied by 1 minus that's fluctuation all over to close. Yeah, that's all. So we already know omega mean from our calculation from that 3% downing. I saved it B. It's this much, 954 99.45 is equals to average, I think I just put it here to be 102.62. hope I didn't make a mistake. 1 minus C, that's all over 2. Now we can solve this one. So after doing good math, you get your factor here to be 0.06. With it, you come back and plug it here. After plugging here, you now get your IM, then your IM, let me come, and then it look like my IM will look like 0.32. Remember the units, it's kg with an m power 2. Cool. So you know that after having our inertia, we can actually get anything dimension related. What was the question again? This problem solve until you don't know what you're looking for. We wanted the width, so it's like how thick it is. So we have a formula also for moment of inertia for a loop, okay, from your physics. I think you should remember it. Okay, it's going to be mass and then d out squared minus d inner. It's a loop, so there is literally 2 d's, outside and in. That's how our flywheel look like. So that is all over 8 here. Okay, we have mass here. We know that density is equals to mass over volume. That means we can get our mass equals to density volume. Okay, so what is, now I have mass is equals to density volume. What is volume here? Volume will be the area of this face multiplied by thickness. So if I remember very well, we have to calculate the area of the out minus the inner. Yes, that's cool. Then our volume is going to be 2 pi r outside minus 2 pi inside, let me call it I, then close, then multiply by thickness. And then I think there are a lot of common factors here. Let me call this P, T goes to the other side. I can take out this and now have 2 pi r. Okay, I hope I didn't make a mistake there. Okay, cool. Then it should be r naught minus r I. Okay, from here you can compute your, I think the only unknown here is this one. This one they gave us here on the properties of our low carbon steel. I think it was somewhere here. Where is it? Oh, here is density. It's 7860. So we know this one is 7860. We don't know thickness. We know 2 pi. We've seen it a lot. Pi r squared, not 2 pi r squared. Yeah, I'm wrong here. It's pi r squared, not 2 pi r squared. Okay, cool. So at least I saw it. And then r naught, we know r naught. It was, they give us ODs and inner diameter here. It's 282. I mean 280 and 200. So if I'm changing it, that's millimeters, I have to write in meters. So it's going to be 0.28 all over 2 minus 0.2 all over 2, because these are radiuses. Then here I'll get my m in terms of t. So after computing, I don't remember, I think I got 0.3 thickness, and then that 0.3 thickness, we'll have to plug it here because that is m in terms of thickness. Okay, take note, this might be wrong, I'm just least to recalculate. Okay, so please recalculate for me and tell me what you got here. That will be mass in terms of theta. Mass as a function of, mass is a function of thickness. That's so math. Okay, then I come back with it, plug it here, and then divide it by 8 in terms of theta. We also know all these d naught, that's 0.28 squared minus 0.2 squared, close, and then we know the I here. I think that's what we got on our last so 0.32. Okay, and then you solve here to find your thickness, because it's literally only one unknown here, it's thickness. Then if you did very well, your thickness should be 0.091. It is in meters because already changed everything to meters. So we have answered the very first question here. Minimum and maximum speed of the shaft, I think we've answered that with these, and then circumferential loop and radial stresses, okay, without a fitted to the spoke without generating an internal pressure. So there are very long formulas for that. I'll just take them and plug them here, and then we discuss what goes where, then you can plug them. So the question, let me go reference it again. The question was wrong question. Okay, was I? Oh, it's the question. Oh, the question was circumferential loop and radial stresses. So you have these formulas that you just plug in and they tell you everything you want. So first we have this one. This one will give us the hoop stress. The hoop stress you plug in here, the hoop stress you want to get for the inner radius and the outer radius. Like for, let me just throw it here, you want to get it for here and also for here. So here obviously your R is going to equal to your R outside, and then if you are here, your R is going to equal to your R in. So you're doing this, plugging in these formulas. Let's look what is in this as, okay, you know this, you know this, you know this, you know that, you know that, you know that, you know that, you know that. Let's just confirm. Okay, I'll come back. Then you know that internal pressure, this inner, you know that, you know that, you know that. So you can actually plug in and play. And V is your Poisson ratio. I don't know if I pronounced it very well. It should be an O. Po ratio, and I think it was given also on our data. Let me go back, see if we have it. Okay, it's here. So everything you could ask for on these formulas is just here. You just plug and play, and then you get answers. Please comment your answers here. We'll discuss if you got any answers wrong on these two, because I'm not going to compute them, because it's a matter of me punching in a calculator and getting in data. Thank you.